Hey, Lawrence here. Welcome to another episode of Business Beats. Thanks for joining. Today we're talking about a philosophy that's really important to me. I live my life against it, on it, in it, around it, and I live and breathe this philosophy. It's an old Stoic philosophy that really resonated with me. And in simple terms, or in 21st century terms, that philosophy is the obstacle is the way. The obstacle is the way. So we're going to talk about that today. What that means to me, how I think it can help you in all levels and stages of your life. So let's dive in. So the obstacle is the way. Means a lot to me. I came across this philosophy a long time ago. Tom Bilyeu did an interview with a gentleman by the name of Ryan Holiday. Ryan, shout out to you, mate. Amazing guy, intelligent, such a good book. He's written quite a few books. You should go and check him out. So Ryan Holiday authored The Obstacle is the Way. Comes from an old Stoic philosophy, and that Stoic philosophy is what stands in the way becomes the way. So what stands in the way becomes the way. Really important if you unpack that and think about it, what that means and how powerful that can be. So the obstacle is the way. So what obstacles are you facing in your life, right? How many are there? How frequently does it happen? And what are they? Because what normally happens when someone hits something, they decline or they retract, right? For obvious reasons. They don't know how to unpack it. The emotion kicks in when you face an obstacle. And it can be challenging and daunting because normally the obstacle means that this is something that you haven't faced before. Like you don't know what to do, right? That's the whole point of that philosophy. So in true Stoic philosophy, what do? They smash through that. So how can your biggest challenges become the biggest opportunities? How can your biggest challenges become the biggest opportunities? How can the worst day of your life become the best day of your life, right? Like think about that, absorb that. Because that's pretty powerful. If you could overcome that or you could figure that out, well, imagine how amazing your life could be. It could be incredible. The happiness that you could create, right? You won't be chasing unicorns in that world. There will be no unicorns. You are the unicorn in that world. I just think that is where happiness lives. I always said, if there's anything that I could give to my daughters when I leave this planet and I depart, right? Would be the ability to resolve issues. That would be the gift I would want to leave them because I think that's where all the problems are created and I think that's what holds people back from being successful or achieving prosperity in their life, whatever that may look like for them. That's what I think it is. I think people come up against an obstacle and they don't know how to handle it, like that challenge that faces them that basically makes them, like I said before, retract and go backwards, right? Or stop, sometimes that's what it is. I see it in business all the time. I see business owners, Pam who starts the pie shop. Pam who starts the pie shop. It starts off great for the first 30, 60 days and in 90 days, she's starting to see sales flatten off. And then she becomes worried. Like, what's happening? Why are no one buying my pies anymore? I have the best pies on the planet. Look, that may be the case. And then what'll happen in that environment because of that obstacle, that challenge, right? People tend to move into a mindset of scarcity. They start to focus on all the things that are going to go wrong. And then they live there and they never come out of that space. They live in that space and they can never pull themselves out of the hole. And I think that's an important thing to take note of is that when you're in the hole and it's tough, you have to find ways to get out of it. And the first thing I always think of is it starts with you, right? You are the obstacle. Because if you can't change that psychology or that mindset, there's nothing that you can do. So the first thing is identify the obstacle as an opportunity, if you can do that. Identify the challenge as an opportunity. So what it's saying to you that what you're doing is not working. So what that should force a healthy mindset to do is go, okay, let's unpack that, let's re-engineer it and find out a better way to do it. And then what happens is you move into that element of education, learning and development and innovation, right? It's so good. Like that's the whole philosophy of the obstacle is the way. What can you do now to win the game? Like what can you do? it'll force you to think about other ways if you have the psychology already in play, right? There's this part of the brain called I think it's the reticular activation component of the brain. Don't quote me on that. It's been a long time since I read about that. But what it means is that it's like when you get a stain on the couch or a small dent in the car, right? You see it all the time. Like you see it every day for 14, 20, 30 days. And then what happens over a period of time is you stop seeing that dent. And then you start to settle on that dent, and that dent starts to become part of your life, right? Like you just sort of ease into it, like you just don't see it anymore. When people face obstacles and challenges, what they normally do is they just accept it. It becomes part of the regular routine, right? Well, look, that's there. We'll just keep moving forward. We really won't do anything about that. Hopefully things will be okay. We'll hide under a blanket and hopefully everything is going to be okay. It never fucking works out that way. Like that is such a stupid thing to do. So man up, take responsibility for it and face the challenge head on, right? Like that's just the best thing to do. Like you want to unpack the obstacle, the challenge, the issue, and then try to figure out a way through that. Like that is such an intelligent thing to do. It's very non-intelligent to ignore it. It's very non-intelligent to get emotional about it and to let it affect you where you are carrying that monkey on your back. And here's the thing, that monkey will get heavier as time progresses and moves forward, right? If you can't figure it out in 30 days, guess what happens? And you know this, the stress gets heavier and heavier as you move forward, right? So you really got to think about if you could take the concept or the philosophy of the obstacle is the way, and how do you live and breathe that, right? Like how do you wake up in the morning and before you even get in the car to drive to the office or go to the work site or whatever it is that you do, drop the kids off at school, 5 things went wrong and you walk into that, you walk outside to get into the day and you got a smile on your face. Because that's what it does. It eliminates stress and anxiety from your life if you can figure out that philosophy and onboard it as a belief system. So let's talk about that onboarding as a belief system because I think that's pretty critical. So the obstacle is the way is a belief system for me now. 100%. I live my life by it. In fact, I have it tatted on my arm. It is one of the most important things to me. There are a couple of things that are important to me, and the obstacle is the way is one of them. So thank you, Ryan, for rephrasing that Stoic philosophy for me into a format that I can understand, right? But it's an amazing philosophy because I think what it does, it nurtures us to be able to strive to be better and to be happier, right? You just need to get over yourself and get out of your own way. And believe it. And here's the thing, and I've said this before, even if you didn't believe it, you should still do it because it can be so powerful, it could change your life. Like, I say sometimes people take their old selves to a new environment, right? Their old selves to a new business, their old selves to a new job, their old selves to a new relationship. Because they faced all these obstacles and challenges, they became unsuccessful and they think moving into a new space will change that. Well, guess what? It fucking will not. You're gonna carry that with you because you are the obstacle. So the first thing you have to do is get the psychology and wrap the attitude around it, right? And think about, well, if I'm the obstacle, I have to fix myself first. Education training. I always say it, you gotta educate your way out of it. If you're in a hole, throw a couple of books down there, read those books and then stack those and climb out of it, right? So you should do that because it works. And if it doesn't, try harder. Like you are the obstacle. Everything that happens in your life is your fault. Like, I don't know whether you see it like that and whether you take responsibility, but everything that happens in your life is your fault. Everything is on you. You are to blame. You are the problem. So what are you going to do about it? Sit there and complain about it and blame somebody else? Like you could blame God. You know, maybe it's his fault. God damn it. You know, maybe it is his fault. No, it's not. Come on, let's get real. It's your fault. So whatever socio-economic environment you grew up in, and you had a hard time, woe was me, and you got that woe was me attitude, well, get over it because there's someone out there on this planet who has had a harder time than you have, 100%. You can look around every corner and find that person. And I'll tell you what, a lot of those people are probably a little bit more positive than you are, right? So get over it. So you need to really think about that. So in most instances, it's going to be you. You are the problem. So it's a lack of education. Now, if something goes wrong in your life, like you have a bad day, right? You get to work, you get called into an office, they say you didn't do that well, and then you walk out and then you bitch and moan for the rest of the week. Like, who does that help? It doesn't help your family, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help your work colleagues, it doesn't resolve the situation. It makes you feel bad. It makes you get stressed out about it. You're going to bitch and whinge to your children, your partner, your work colleagues, yourself. So what's the point? Like, think about that. Just think about it. When you come up against an obstacle in your life, what do? Like, you should be conscious about how you behave. And most people just want to bitch and whinge and not take any responsibility. You should take responsibility. Like, it's such a beautiful place to live your life, taking responsibility. And that Stoic philosophy, what stands in the way becomes the way, is how I live my life. And I tell you what, life is pretty good. Like, so how can your worst day be the best day of your life, right? Just think about that. Think about this, right? This is, what if the worst day for you was that you lost someone near and dear to you, that you loved, right? Imagine if you could put yourself in a position to think about what stands in the way becomes the way. Like, this heartache that I'm facing, what could be the possible positive outcome for that? Well, it might help you reflect on yourself. So this is just a hypothetical, right? No harm, no foul. I'm just going to throw this out there. It might get you to reflect on yourself about the things that are important to you, which might change your life, which might force you to read a book that you never read or go in a direction that you never did. It might force you to take some risks in your life because you're thinking life is short. The person that I lost didn't do that, so I'm going to do that. So you see what happens there. If your boss comes down on you because you've done something wrong or you made a mistake or whatever that may be, it might be, you know what? This is not the right job for me anyway. I'm not feeling very happy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go and chase my dream. Great. See the outcome there. Or it might be, hey, you know what? He's right. I could be better. So I'm going to strive to be better now. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to step my game up and lift my standards. How am I going to do that? I think I should do a course on X. So there's, the obstacle is the way. That is the way. The problem is the opportunity. It helps you identify things and wraps a little bit of clarity around things that I think for people that they don't normally get. In your business life, in your personal life, in your job, in your family life, this concept and philosophy applies to all of that. So I think it's really, really important. That's why I wanted to talk about today. Are you chasing unicorns? Just think about it, and what I mean by that is everyone around you telling you how great you are, and in fact you're the problem. I think that's pretty common, right? I think people are, hey, you're so great, it's not you, everything's going to work out, it will be okay, everything is going to be great because you're great. Why, that's bullshit. Maybe you're not so great. Maybe you need to work on yourself and develop yourself. Maybe you are the problem. You know what I mean? You need to find out what the obstacles are in your life, in your business, in your job, in your family life, in your relationship, right? Are you continually taking your old self into a new space? Because if you are, it's destined for failure. So the obstacle is the way. Think about it. Write it down. Read the book. Go and get Ryan's book, audio book, whatever you want to do, and you should read that. I highly advise that you read that book. And look at that philosophy, right? I'm a bit of a Stoic myself, right? I'm pretty old school. I work hard. I like a challenge. I operate really good in high pressure environments, and I operate best when I'm losing. So imagine if you could be your best self in the worst situation. Let me say that again. Imagine if you could be your best self in the worst situation. How amazing your life could be. Just think about that. Man, that is so powerful. I think that is the jam. I think that's where life should be played. And I think if you can get there, you'll have an amazing life, a fulfilling life, where you're contributing and helping people. Your economics will be on point. Your body, your mind will be on point. And I think it is the place to live. So if something goes wrong in your life, how do you handle it? Think about that. The obstacle is the way. Wanted to talk about that today. I thought it was really important. I live my life by it. There's a couple of philosophies I live my life by. Let me tell you one more, is that It's not about what anyone says to me or what happens to me. It's about what I say to myself after they stop talking. So it's not about what anyone says to me. It's about what I say to myself after they stop talking. So it's what's going through my brain when I get hit, right? Like if someone has a go at me or challenges me or critiques me or gives me some criticism, how do I handle that? That's also classed as an obstacle, by the way. So, you want to think about that. It's not just about big instances that may happen in your life. It's the small things that happen 100 times a day. What if someone critiqued you or gave you some constructive criticism? How do you handle it? Do you go to the wall? Do you get upset? Why would you get upset? If you get upset about, people criticizing you, you're not in control. What that tells me is that someone else is in control of how you feel. If that's the case, you're in big trouble. If someone else is in control about how you feel every day, you're in big trouble. How could you possibly be in control of your own life? So that philosophy of the obstacle is the way, it gives you control, right? No one can take that away from you. The outcome is going to be your outcome and yours alone. So that's pretty powerful. You should think about that. So look, that's all I had to say about that. I hope that helped. It's a strong philosophy. It's a good philosophy, I believe. Maybe you should just do one thing and have a look at it. And if it doesn't work for you, no harm, no foul. You can move on and do whatever it is you're doing now. You've got nothing to lose, right? But I think it's pretty powerful. So go check it out. The Obstacle is Away. The book's by Ryan Holiday. And you should go and read it. Look, that's all I've got for you. I really appreciate you watching. Again, we're a not-for-profit venture, so if you want to subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. We're trying to push as much good content out there as we can. Well, hopefully you find it as good content, and I appreciate you watching. And we'll look forward to speaking next time. Thanks.